I hope you guys aren't finding all these Cummins videos exhausting. Okay, this is episode 8 of the 12-valve Cummins swap on my 1972 Ford Crewcab dually. In this episode, we're going to figure out exhaust. For those that haven't watched any of the videos before, like I said, this is number 8. Number 7, the last one, we did all the wiring to get it to start and shut off with the key and the alternator to charge and everything. If you haven't watched the other videos, please go check them out. They're great. Yeah, we'll make some tubing. So my plan is to, instead of coming off the turbo and straight down in between the frame rail and the engine and around all the cross members and stuff like exhaust is traditionally done, I'm going to come off the turbo down and 90 degrees to come through the inner fender right in here somewhere, and then I can just sneak the exhaust down through here and it will run down this big open cavity on the outside of the frame rail all the way to the back. And by doing that, we'll avoid going over all the cross members. There's no like tight areas or anything. It's just a nice clean straight shot to the back of the truck, where we'll probably do a little turnout and just come out the side. Nice and simple, easy peasy. So to make this exhaust system, we're going to use this original piece off the turbo, mainly because it's already flanged. You can, if you don't have this piece, and you can just go to an exhaust shop and get them to flange that for you and build the rest. But we already have a piece, and it's actually in really nice condition still. It's probably maybe a year or two old. So we're probably just going to cut that off right about there. And then I've got an assortment of some 90-degree bends that we can cut up to get all our curves. All mandrel bent too, thanks to Chris at Bumperland for getting that stuff for me. And we got a 10-foot straight shot of tubing. So that's going to be our materials. I haven't decided if I'm going to TIG weld it or MIG weld it yet. Probably just MIG weld it because it's just aluminized tubing. It doesn't need to be fancy on this truck. Yeah, there we go. Let's build some exhaust. You just saw me cut the turbo piece down, and what I forgot to film was I took one of these 90s and cut it in half to give me a 45. So now what we can do is take this 45 and it will go right on there. And what that will do is right now this pipe is coming off the turbo and going down on an angle, and we want to, by using this 45, we'll kick it down so that it comes straight down, because right now it's going to run into the firewall. You're probably going to have to trust me on this because I don't think you can see in here when I'm in here. But we're going to measure from that piece down, the piece we just welded on. We're going to measure down to the frame rail, which gives us just a shade over 5 inches. So I think what we'll do is take the 5 inches and subtract it to 4 inches, and that will lift our bend up. We'll have an inch off the frame rail to compensate for engine rock. And we'll cut that 90 degree so that it's 4 inches down, and then that's where it will kick out and go through the fender. So I'm going to explain this again because I've already done this, but when I filmed it all for you guys, my little mic was unplugged from the thing, so it didn't record any of it. But basically what I did, so we wanted 4 inches, right? I set my little T-square at 4 inches, like so. And I took, we'll start with the new one here. I took the clamp, clamped it down on there. Let me find my marker. Hold up. Then put that on the table. Marked it in a couple spots. Like so. And that will give us our 4-inch height that we wanted. So when I go to cut this, I've got a couple marks on there at the 4-inch spot. I usually take a zip tie and I will wrap the zip tie around it on all the marks. Make sure it's on all the marks nice and even. And then when you take your Sharpie, you can trace it and get a nice even line. You don't get a zip tie scene, take 3, because my mic quit again. I found it was actually just dead. I had to plug it in. Okay, as I was saying before it got cut off again, you wrap the cable tie around it, you draw it with your Sharpie, you got a nice even line to cut, and it gives you a nice flat surface so that when you go to butt that up to the next piece, it fits nice. Okay, I hope the audio worked on that. With that cut, it should fit on there like that now. But we got to cut a hole in the fender. So I already did this because, or not, I didn't cut the hole yet, but I've already marked it out before I realized my mic was dead. But basically, I used this little square where my finger is going into as a reference point and came back down to this side, lined my pipe up with that reference point, and I just kind of trace this in here. So now we can cut that out. This guy slides in just like so. I'm going to line it up facing the angle I want it to be, about like that, and then I'm going to take a Sharpie and draw a line across both pieces in a couple spots so that I can line them up on the bench and weld it. This is all bolted up now. So we can figure out the next piece. We got to come off here and come down. But before we come down, I turn the tires all the way to lock because we don't want our pipe to hit the steering. So it's pretty close. The second piece that I marked with 4 inches in our the little redo video that I did, it's actually, I think, gonna work out. So what we're gonna do is cut that piece at 4 inches, which will bring it in away from the tire, and then point it down. So we can come down and back. Fit this piece in here now that it's all cut. We've got tons of room in here for steering, which is what we want. Lots of room there. We got room on this side as well. So we'll take our Sharpie and make 2 lines again so we can take this to the bench and weld it up. Right, so with this piece in here, I've gone ahead and mocked up the big straight shot that goes all the way to the back. I just got it sitting on some blocks of wood here at the right height. It is pretty much level with the rocker panel, which is nice. There's no, like, there's lots of clearance height-wise that way. So all we got left now is we just need to connect this and this. So we'll probably take one of these pieces and maybe one of these little pieces in here and put them together. Did some chopping and some slicing. I got these guys to fit pretty nice like that. We'll put some marks here, like so. I'm going to pull this whole piece off and weld it all up on the bench, except for this, because obviously I can't fit that whole thing through there. So I'll weld this together on the bench, put it in, bolt it up in place, and then weld this. Actually, I'll probably weld this together before I bolt it up, just so I can weld all around nicely. And then we can move on to exhaust hangers. For the exhaust hangers, this is the original Ford exhaust hanger bracket that was bolted to the frame. It used to be bolted on the other side of the frame facing that way, and I just simply unbolted it, turned it around, and now it faces this way. As you can see, it's got this little hole in here. So I'm just going to take one of these super simple hangers and bolt it up like that. Weld it on like that. Easy peasy. Well, there it is, all bolted up here, welded here. I cut the little thing off, and it was still a little loose, so I went ahead and put another hanger. Let me have a light here. Put another hanger back here. It's just simply bolted to the box rail and welded down there. So it's nice and solid now. I like that. We got lots of room under the camper bar that I never use, because if you remember from the last video, I hate camping. And we got lots of room through here. I can slide my fingers through there. So that leaves us to the far end, which, as you can see, is just left in the wild. That's mostly because I don't know how I want to end the exhaust on this truck yet. I don't know if I want to just simply turn it 90 degrees and kick it out under the fender here. The only thing that concerns me about doing that is I don't want this rim to be black with soot all the time. Normally, I'm a pretty big fan of running two pipes right out the back. Kind of, well, you can't really see it at all on there. But usually I run two pipes out the back bumper. However, with a diesel, I hate the smell of diesel smoke. and lining up, hooking up to the trailer and stuff when the truck's running and you're cranking the jack down and trying to hook the plug in and stuff. I don't want diesel in my face. So I might run it under the axle and have it come out here yet. I don't know. I also don't know what I want to do for an exhaust tip yet. I'd like to do something early to mid 70s to kind of keep it period correct. But everything I look at from, you know, the early 70s, like nobody ran 3-inch exhaust back then. So yeah, I'm still working that one out in my head. If you've got any ideas on what you think would look cool, you know, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinion on it. Anyways, I think let's start this thing up and see what it sounds like. Rad. Well, I don't know about you guys, but listening to my neighbor grind all day is getting pretty exhausting. So I think I'm going to take my dog to the park. It's a great day for it. Thanks so much for watching. Please make sure you check out the website, lgspeedcustom.com, where you can get LG Speed and Custom shirts. We got the Roadster shirt, the Thunderbird shirt, the logo shirt, women's shirts, men's shirts, obviously, hot rod parts, Cummins parts, all sorts of good stuff. Go check out the website, lgspeedcustom.com. Also, thanks again to the Cavaleros. Make sure you check out thecavaleros.com, as well as check them out on YouTube at the Cavaleros. I don't know. I'm literally waiting for parts to continue on with the next piece. It says they got delivered today, but they're not here, so I think they got delivered to, there's another business nearby that has almost the same address as me, and I think that's where my parts are, so it's happened a lot. So I got to figure that out, and until then, I can't really do too much on this. We're basically we're just waiting on parts. Then we can paint it and put it together. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, hit notifications, all that great stuff. And yeah, it was just a quick, short video. Thanks again. See you on the next video.